We've all heard the hoopla about how modern games suck,
This guy stinks!
and the various reasons why that's the case and how we've gotten to this point. I mean, I've taken part in that conversation a few times.
The games as a service model has failed us. They somehow become the norm for $70 games to release broken in ways that make it painfully obvious that the only content that had real effort put into it were things they wanted to sell us through microchips.
What if I were to tell you, after some reflection and trying to look at things through a different perspective, I can confidently tell you there are plenty of reasons why gaming is actually better now than it's ever been. Would you believe me? And can I convince you to take a different look around our current gaming landscape? I mean, indie games. Do I really need to say more than that? The fact that a game like Expedition 33 can come from an indie studio says a lot about the way modern game development technology can empower creators. I know the game did have contractors. I know there were more than the 30 people working on it. Regardless, the fact that a company with 30 employees could produce a game like this with the tools at developers' disposal these days, it doesn't change the fact that this is kind of crazy. Especially if you think about gaming, 20 years ago. Like a game like this sweeping the Game Awards is crazy. Because what empowering indie developers means, to put it really simply, is that the access to games that aren't AAA games is so much higher than it's ever been. So it's easy to talk about how gaming feels like it's going downhill, but in reality, a lot of people are just talking about AAA gaming, but not gaming as a whole. If you're somebody who often explores and plays indie games, you're probably eating good in the game department. And to be fully honest, I've not been one of those people who will play indie games regularly, but I very much want to be. After taking this into consideration, the amount of creative, interesting, new games that come out all the time just from smaller development teams that I'm used to playing, with maybe slightly less polish or a smaller feature set, those aren't necessarily bad things. And there's a ton on the market that anybody who's not playing those style of games is missing out on. And I think the people who are the loudest about feeling like modern games suck are the ones who are only playing the really overly corporatized slop that has been coming out in the last few years. Those people aren't wrong by citing that they feel there's a decline somewhere. Where they are wrong is in trying to generalize and say that all of gaming has that same negative decline going on. Just looking at the scene of the amount of games we have access to for very low cost and oftentimes free, you kind of can't give a good argument that gaming as a whole is on this crazy decline. Maybe the games you personally like suck these days. If you're maybe a Halo fan, it might be easy to be like, yeah, modern games suck, they're not what they used to be. It's like, well, yeah, modern Halo isn't where it used to be. But you can't generalize that to all of gaming. That's unfair. And it's just kind of dumb. Same goes for if you're a Call of Duty major, And yeah, modern Call of Duty is not in a great spot, but that doesn't mean, that you can sit behind a camera and talk about how all of gaming sucks these days. That's just not how that works. It's not how it should work. I think a lot of people treat it that way. It's fair to be frustrated that your favorite franchise is not where it used to be or where it should be. But making those sort of generalizations has become kind of the norm, and it's unhealthy and wrong. So second good thing about modern gaming would be that it's more accessible than ever. A lot of modern games have been optimized for mobile use now. It used to be like back in the early days of cell phones and video games, you got that really crappy Grand Theft Auto app where you could customize your license plate and take care of Chop. But nowadays you got Fortnite on mobile, the biggest game out there on mobile running natively. That's insane. The level of access, it's always in your pocket. Minecraft on mobile devices, Bedrock, is the same Minecraft you're playing on your Xbox. In your pocket all the time. You can sync it to a controller and just use your phone like a mini TV. This is stuff we would have dreamed about as kids. We thought it was cool. We just had the Game Boy playing half pixelated versions of games that we could take with us, and that was good enough back then. The access and then, oh my God, let alone the Steam Deck and all the other portable game devices, gaming laptops that are just as powerful, more powerful than some of the consoles we've got. You can take those anywhere as long as you can plug them into an outlet because the batteries don't quite do the job. That level of access we take for granted. Cloud gaming now, oh my gosh, like, and that's just gonna keep getting better. The amount of access we have to playing games, the straight up TV console experience and being able to take it anywhere is insane. And I do really think we take that aspect of the modern gaming conversation for granted. It's really cool. It's only getting better. And for a lot of people, it's the only way they can play games. Like if, you have kids that kind of dominate the main screen TV and you don't have a desk set up, then yeah, you play a game on your phone using the cloud play, or you buy a Steam Deck, or you use a laptop. Those are not options we had in the past. And I think anybody who's experienced both of these generations can obviously pick out which one's better. A third good thing about modern gaming would be we're getting from the bigger studios that, some are on a decline, but when a game hits, it's kind of like the game of our dreams as children. Like as somebody who grew up on the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2, like something like Red Dead Redemption 2, I know it's a few years old now, but I'm going to consider it as part of the modern gaming scene. Like, that game is crazy. I can just get lost riding around in Red Dead Redemption 2, looking at the mountains and the foliage and going hunting and just like kind of side questing on my own using my imagination just due to how crazy the world has been built in that game. And that was from 2018. And there are other games, like pushing and just like from the graphics department. The graphics have gotten amazing. Like in some ways we're like straight up just getting the games we would have dreamed of as kids, from a size, from a graphics, and again from accessibility standpoint. Gaming in a way is delivering on a lot of things that you may have wished for when you were younger, for where you'd want gaming to go in the future, where there'd be these really big games with a ton of content, role-playing games with a billion different choices and things to do, multiplayer games that could support massive player size, like player counts, massive maps, crazy destructibility, amazing graphics all at the same time running on one device. Like the way the technology has pushed things forward has got to be really impressive to somebody who is, if you show somebody from 2003 Battlefield 6, they'd lose their mind. And you wouldn't be able to convince that person that gaming today is on some crazy decline. They'd be like, what are you talking about? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Obviously that skips, a decade of like mediocrity from games like Battlefield, but nonetheless, they'd find it impressive. And I think sometimes those advancements have become so normalized. It's like it's hard to like feel positive about those things, when I do think we should. Obviously not to let mistakes and bad, hardly functioning games slide. 'Cause that's not what this video is about, is letting like the problems of today slide. It's just we also shouldn't be writing off the entirety of the hobby as something that's in decline. But why do people say that this generation sucks? What's going on with everyone being so negative about the current console generation? Or the last two, if you want to lump them together. So now that we have established that this modern generation really has some strength going for it, why do we have all the noise about how it's so awful compared to the good old days? For one, negativity thrives on the internet. Hell, if you're watching this video right now, it's because I had to disguise the positive premise of this video into a bold claim that goes against the broader public opinion. This kind of created a negative adjacent curiosity in you, the viewer. This translates into the endless complaining about video games and literally everything else on the internet. Everyone is actively incentivized to make money off clicks and engagement. And this creates entire economies out of complaining about nothing.
Anybody else exhausted of freaking girl bosses just in all of your media now? You
gonna cry? The second reason, kind of lumping in with the first if you think about it, I feel like a lot of people on the internet talk about games that they haven't played, or that they never would have played naturally. Maybe that's better. Like a game reviewer, right? Somebody whose whole job on the internet, like a YouTube game reviewer, if they're reviewing every game that comes out, they're playing and then reviewing and then spreading opinions about a game that might not be for them. Like a game they never would have played if they weren't a game reviewer. Right? And if you're not passionate about a franchise, if you don't like a certain style of gameplay, but a game is so popular that you gotta hop on and review it for the views, there's a good chance you might not like that game. And if you don't like that game, but you want to give your honest reviewer opinion, you're going to talk about how you don't like that game and try and justify it and give it all these metrics and reasons. And at the end of the day, it just didn't vibe with you. But then you start giving these reasons as to why you think it's bad or poorly made or whatever, and you give it to an audience who does not play the game before watching your video. Then they never buy the game. Or they start saying to other people on the internet that the game sucks. And at this point, they're so far removed from anybody who's played the game. And I feel like this game of telephone about video games has gotten really negative to where people will watch a bad review. And then the reviewer played the game, but that doesn't mean it was going to be one they were going to like or care about. And if they don't care about it, they're not going to tell the viewer to care about it. And a lot of these reviewers are really bad at being like, it might be your cup of tea, it just wasn't mine because I don't really play this type of game or whatever. And I just can't help but think that process may have a lot to do in people's general feelings of negativity towards games. Whereas if you were to actually go give blank game a try, you would personally really like it. His money's tight, so it's like if you're your favorite reviewer who you generally feel like you sync views with and you like the same games, and they say don't buy it, it wasn't good, I didn't like it, so you don't, because it's not like, you always have 60, 70, 80 bucks to toss around to games if you don't know if you're gonna like it or not. Then you don't buy it, you don't play it, and you never get to see if you'd like it or not. An example of this for me, I'm passionate about the Mafia franchise, and so I was gonna probably like the game regardless, which is probably bias on my end. And then watching someone like Angry Joe like really not like the game, like he was falling asleep, and put that in his review that he was falling asleep in the middle of the game.
Boom, fuck. Hey, if you have a problem with insomnia and getting a good night's rest, you play this.
It's like, even I had positive bias and he happened to have like negative, I think. It's just like, what a negative thing to put out in terms of the game I thought it was great. I really liked it. To see a game reviewer I generally agree with literally like snoring, to this game was really weird. And that's not nothing in this, current gaming landscape of like a lot of gaming's fueled by YouTube and YouTube reviews and YouTube Let's Plays. You can't count it out. But then 3, most importantly of all, maybe, quote unquote, AAA gaming, arguably has gotten worse over the years. There's debate to be had on this topic, sure, but there are strong indications that we've seen a decline in the massive, heavily marketed, heavily funded, and heavily popular AAA gaming scene. Umpteen examples of games that take literally a decade plus to create. Then we have expectations balloon to a point to where they're almost guaranteed gonna let people down. Budgets have flown up to the point that new IPs are seen as scary and risky to the financial future of a game developer. So then we get, remakes and remasters and sequels are completely running the show at any capacity where money's involved. And AAA gaming, I think, is the most common denominator of, if you play video games, you're gonna have a good mix of the AAA stuff in your gaming library. That's how I've been for the longest time. I want to break out of it, but I think that's how a lot of people experience games, are through the really, you don't want to trust your money with something that doesn't been like proven, kind of. That's at least part of it. Part of it is, brand recognition and franchise recognition and the reputation of a studio. Like, all that stuff matters, and the amount of marketing you'll see for a game will help influence if you buy it or not. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into why people play AAA games. A lot of them have not been hitting the mark. Where you've got franchises like Halo or Call of Duty more recently, where the massive player bases, massive sales numbers, massive names in gaming release new games that are incredibly lackluster. And when that happens, when a game studio that's really not expected to do something so bad, like there's so much money poured into this thing, even from a consumer side, you don't really expect it to be too bad. And then it is. And you're like, well, and that happens time and after time and after time again. It's easy to look around and be like, well, the gaming industry's really missing the mark. And then it's easy to make that generalization when you're talking about the AAA studios, because sometimes to a lot of people, that is all gaming is made up of the collection of AAA stuff that they happen to play, whether it be Madden. Madden's been on a decline for a long time, releasing the same game over and over and over again. If you play play Madden and Call of Duty, and those are your two main games, then yeah, sure, gaming sucks. And my point here was to try and highlight really just, that the core of it is spreading that out and being like, if you find yourself thinking modern game entirely sucks, I think at the end of the day, all that means is you're not playing enough games. You don't have enough variety. Because I think if you spread your horizon out and played a heavier mix of indie games, looked for different styles that interested you, I think you'd find plenty of experiences you find very worthwhile in this modern age. And then you can start to really take advantage of things like the access and the mobility and the interesting things you can do with graphics and the interesting thing indie developers are doing. Once you start seeing that whole picture, it becomes a lot harder to justify the statement gaming sucks these days. And that was really the point I wanted to try and make here. Thanks for watching.